Hello, my name is Nolan Andruski, and I'm going to be starting off my speech by asking a question. Um, do you know what the leading cause of the increase in depression in teens is? Just gonna wait a second for you to think of it. The answer is actually social media. Jonathan Haidt did a report on this that I will later dive into. But right now, I'm going to tell you my topic. The topic I've chose for my persuasive speech is the negative social implications that come with technology. The first topic that I will dive into is mental health. There are obviously some positives that come with technology that can help your mental health. There are communities and people you could talk to online that will talk you through your mental health issues, and so forth, and apps that will do the exact same thing. But the negatives are far more worse with technology. Social media is linked to depression, as I stated in my introduction. The rates of teen depression actually increased in 2012, which is exactly when the use of mass social media started. As I said, Jonathan Haidt did a, what's the word I'm looking for? He did a experiment and had one group continue their social media usage, and the other group leaned off of the social media, and he found that the group that leaned off of the social media actually had an increase in their mood compared to the group that continued using social media that reported no changes at all, which was expected. The next topic I'll be discussing is children's cognitive health. When it comes to the technology and children's cognitive health, there are obviously some apps on their phones, if they have a phone, or their tablets, as most children have, that help them learn the problem-solving skill apps, and then some kids actually learn their alphabet either watching videos or playing games on a tablet. But the negatives, in reality, the screen time is actually delaying the rate at which children develop their cognitive skills, and this increase of screen time could also lead to a lack of physical activity, as brain sciences says that prolonged screen time in the first few years of life actually negatively affects children's cognitive abilities, especially their language acquisition, which I can not personally relate to, but some members of my family, some of my younger cousins have had problems due to their increase in screen time, as they were on it a lot as when they were like 1 and 2. But that leads me to my next topic, which is privacy. Obviously, when you're online, your privacy, as we all know, is at stake. We're taught when we're young to put our accounts on private, which they generally lead to not being private because we want to be famous or whatever, But according to Hide.me, our personal information is sold by the big companies that we all use, like Google, Apple, and all these bigger companies sell our information on a black market type of marketplace, where our information and our tendencies are sold off to smaller companies for their own personal gain. So it's actually to help them. It's helped the smaller companies understand what our tendencies are so they can help further their business. But and like another thing with privacy, everyone was so worried about TikTok being owned by China, and the United States fought so hard to try to get it into American ownership, so that way the Chinese government wasn't listening to us. But I'm not so sure about that, and didn't dive into that. I should have. But the next topic that I will be talking about is family dynamics and how they are affected by technology. Um, there obviously are some positives to technology, not many, but I'm pretty sure we can all relate to having playing some funny games with our phones, or the headbands game, or it's like charades but with your phone. Um, those are obviously fun. They play with your family, but that the phones and the iPads generally lead to where the negatives are. Um, we spend too much time on our cell phones, and the children spend so much time on their iPads, which takes away valuable family time, which obviously may not get back as our older family, something God forbid to happen to them, and we spent too much time on our phones not paying attention to the conversations. Um, and my last topic that I will be discussing is common miscommunications that come online, which is the technology. There are not any positives that come with this, so there's no opposing side to my argument. But when you're online, I'm pretty sure we can all relate where we come into a miscommunication due to not being able to see someone's body language, so we don't know how they're feeling, and we can't hear the tone of their voice. Those are both very important things in understanding someone's meaning, and understanding like what they're trying to say. Those are key aspects. So without those, it's difficult to have a conversation with somebody, and it could lead to arguments that wouldn't happen if we were in person. But that is it. That is all my topics. Just go over a recap of the topics I discussed. I went over the mental health issues that happen due to technology, the privacy risks that we have while online using the technology, the negative effect of children's cognitive health while using our phones and apps, and then the family dynamic negatives and the miscommunications that happen while online. Yeah, that is it. That is my speech. Thank you for listening. Hope you guys have a good day. Thank you.